So if you go into your adventures work, under here you see a views. If you did that like way back in the first week or second week, it asks you to look for views and functions and procedures, right? These are views created for the adventures work. In here you have some system views created by for the system itself. So when you build add a database, it comes with a default system views. All these here, a lot of them, and any custom views here. All these are custom views. Okay, as you can see, it has they use like human resources dot in the V here just to show show that that's a view, and then and so on. So again, it just could follow any convention anymore, but at least you have a V in there to show a view. So these are all views. And if you want to see in the view, you can see that it looks just like a table. If you expand that, you see it has a column, and all the columns in here, okay, are what they look like, because these are the actual columns, or may not be the actual ones. It could be a modified or alias column that will tell you what data type and the size and all those stuff, just like a regular table. If you go into the tables view, you see that it's also has all those information here as well, right? Same thing. So it looks just like a regular table. And if you go and right click on it, what is view, and say script view as create, and if it's not encrypted, it will show you what that query looks like. So here's that view right here. It says create view human resources dot v employee as, and then the select statements here. Okay, so if you look at this, you see that it's a join statement. It has an E from a different table, P from another table, PP another table, PTN, PNTEA, and so on. A lot of tables in here. So that table alias tells you that it's coming from multiple tables. Okay, and as you can see, all these columns are all unique. Okay, you cannot have duplicate in here. So select all that from, as you can see, the join statements from like about 6 to 8 tables here. So from the employee, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tables. Okay, so from 9 tables, as you can see, it can get really complicated, but 9 tables. And all you do is you give this to the end user, so they don't have to know what tables these come from. All they know is these are the fields available for them to use. Right?
If this was encrypted, we couldn't see this.
No, you wouldn't be able to see it. Yeah, it'll be hidden. Otherwise, they can look at it. Yeah. So yeah, it'll be encrypted. You can't see it. So if I go and create a new query in here.
Even if you're DB owner, you can't decrypt it. So there's 0 ways to decrypt it.
No, as far as I know, you can't decrypt it. It's very, very difficult. You just have to start over. Save you time. You spend a week, rewrite the whole script. Maybe you might spend a couple years to decrypt it. So it's not even worth it. So yeah. So be really careful. Just put it, save it somewhere if that's important, and I don't know. Use your own decryption so you can. Encryption, you can decrypt it, you can see yourself, but in here there's no undo, so there's no way to do it. I'm sure some people might have ways to do it, but as far as I know, it's very, very difficult. Okay, so if you want to see I just showed you how you can view it from the studio, the GUI interface. If I'm clicking, I'm sure I'm there. Make sure I'm at Adventures Work Database and the Human Resources view here. I could do the SP help text and then give it a view name. This is human resources. Easier just to, if I copy paste. And oh, I didn't get all of them. Okay. Human resources dot view employee. Okay, so if I run this statement, you'll see, oh, I have an error. Still says v employee. Okay, so there it is. So I have, as you can see, I see the statements down here. Okay, it's just like what we saw earlier, just exactly same as this. And and then you can see the entire scripts here, and you just copy and paste all these right to your file and save them. Okay. You can also go in here in the Adventures Works. Oh, that's a lot. We'll do our own. It's just a lot of data. So it has all of these views for this table, this database. Okay. So why don't we go ahead and create a database in here, or maybe just an existing. Let's create one. So create a database. Unit 9, right? Unit 9 DB. And you usually see I use the word go. Okay, this is the next part. Okay, next week we'll deal with the go issue. What's that go mean? Why is it there? And so on. I'll explain later. But that's a really important command. Okay. So go ahead and create that. And then that should be in here already. Refresh this database. Here is the unit 9. There's no table, but it has some views. The system views are on there. Okay, so here they are. Okay, so let's create some tables in here. We're going to create a table. I guess we'll have maybe like a buyer and seller or something like that. So let's put a buyer table. Okay, so a buyer, like a bidding service or something. So the buyer have in here a buyer ID. And we'll make that as an int, primary key. We'll just have one here for the first name, varchar of 20, last name, varchar 20 also. Let's just say that's all, just those 3 fields. Okay, so go ahead and create those. Create that table. Okay. Create another one called the seller. You can just replace this with seller and just change the buyer to the seller ID. So the rest is same. Okay, and then just execute that. So I have 2 tables. And just for fun, let's create another table here because they buy and sell stuff. So we have a maybe like an order table, right? Or maybe like an orders table. So let's say create table. Bless you. Orders with an S. The reason why is if you do order, it's a keyword. So if you do that, you have to put that in brackets every time, and that's a lot of typing for me. So just put an S and solves my problem. Okay. So in here, what do we have? We have an order ID. Order ID, int. We'll set this primary key. We'll make this identity, so we don't have to worry about the order ID, or to be generated automatically. And it's going to have just put a product here for varchar of, let's just say 50 and price, or the price or total? The total is better, right? Total must be just money. And we'll have two references to the buyer and seller tables. So we have the buyer ID. This is an int, and it's going to reference the buyer table at the buyer ID. Okay, remember all that? Okay, I hope they don't go away because you have to know these already, right? And we'll do the same with the seller. So seller ID, int references, seller, and then seller ID. Okay. So what I'm creating here is really, if you think about it, this is like a many-to-many tables, okay, relationships. So the seller can sell items to many buyers, and the many buyers can buy from the same seller or from different sellers. So this is like the junction table that is connected between those two tables, and they're referenced by the ID in here. So go ahead and run it, see if it works. Okay, looks good. So what that means is that I have to have the order, the seller and buyer's data before I can enter the order table here, because now these two fields are dependent on the buyer and seller tables, right? Okay, so if I go and refresh my database, tables has nothing there. I refresh the tables. Oh boy, I did it wrong. I had it inserted into the amateur's work table database. So let's do that again. If you did that, just switch it to the Union IDB, and then recreate the whole tables again. What a bummer. Okay. So if you have it correctly, it should be in there. Okay, refresh my tables in here again, and there they are. I have my orders table. I have all three tables now. Again, no views. Okay. And just to see the data size, you can go into the database unit IDB here. Right click. Go to reports, the standard reports here, and just select the disk usage by table. If you're using different version, you may even see that already here. We go reports, and then the standard reports, you see that right here, get selected, but you can also get it from here too. So here it tells me those three tables, and they have no data in there, so it's empty, right? And if you see if it's a view and that the view has an index, it's an indexed view, then it will also be listed here too. It has some data too. Okay, so we'll keep this open here. You can come back and refresh this page, see some data. Okay, any questions how they got here? Yeah. Okay, so you right click on the database that you're working at, so unit 9. And then go to the reports and the standard reports, and then disk by table. Once you select that, then I think it will be listed here as a default. Next time you just grab from here. But first time we just go there and that should give you this table here. And then later on you can refresh it by coming back to this tab and just click the refresh icon here between the printer and the navigation here, and it will refresh it. If you make changes to your tables, like if you add data, delete data, or delete table or add new tables, that will be deleted. That'll be refreshed. So keep that open so I don't have to do it every time. Okay, so let's go back here to our scripts page. And I'm going to create insert some data to these tables, right? So we need to insert some data to the buyer